Hey, everybody, you are listening to Weddings Done Right Radio, the how-to for the I do. Today's episode, a bride's best friend, and it's all about wedding planners. Hey, I just want to let you know that this show is an insider's view of planning your wedding day. In each show, we interview wedding professionals to share their expertise about the business and the reality of the wedding day. And I am your host, Jodi Harris, CEO of Fun, of Sight and Sound Events, and I am broadcasting from the wedding capital of the world. It is Las Vegas, Nevada. Hey, and we are at World Headquarters, and it is so good to be on the show today. I'm really super pumped and excited about the show. I hope you are too. If you're listening to this show, I have one word for you. Congratulations, because you have been dreaming about your wedding ever since you've got your first Barbie and Ken. And now you're engaged. Hey, you're excited to start the wedding planning process. You've planned parties before, but, planning your wedding isn't that easy, and it's not going to be that easy. There's a lot to do to prepare for the big day. It could be overwhelming, and that's one of the many reasons why you should hire a wedding planner, and that's why we're doing the show today. But you might be asking yourself, what is a wedding planner? I'm not a celebrity. I can't afford it. What do they do? Well, on today's episode of Weddings Done Right Radio, the how-to for the I do, we're going to answer all those questions and more. I promise at the end of the show, my two guests will give you a better understanding of what a planner is and you're going to want one. By the end of the show, you're going to want to hire these two ladies that are sitting right next to me in the studio. So let me take this time and introduce you to the pros here. Let me introduce you to Kenzi Blalock from MGM and Sight and Sound Events. Kenzi.
Hi, how are you?
You came really far away to be here today, didn't you?
I know. It was such a long drive.
Kenzi, tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I moved to Vegas about 2 years ago. I went to an event planning school here in the city, and I just decided that that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a part of somebody's big day and in part teach them the best ways to go about handling these stressful situations and really helping them facilitate their weddings the day of. And I've been doing that for about 2 years now.
Awesome. And you do a great job. So thank you. And thank you for being on the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. And sitting next to Kenzi, you can't see her, but is the very suntanned. She's awesome. Archel Rolwing. So I got it. Archel Rolwing of archelrolwingevents. Archel, so nice for you to come down. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
My pleasure. Tell us a little bit about you and your experience.
I've been in Vegas for a while now, about 16 years, and I got married about 6 years ago and fell in love with weddings. And I think that's what happens with a lot of people that do become part of the wedding industry. So here in Vegas, I've been doing that for about 4 years. I knew I wanted to do events, but weddings is what I fell in love with, and here we are.
Here we are. And Archel, I got to tell you, I really enjoyed meeting you. We originally met via email. You had sent me an email and you had a client, in mind, and we connected. And it was really nice that, you took the time from your day to learn a little bit about us and Sight and Sound and just to get to know the industry. And I think that's important. Like when you hire a wedding planner, they should know who some of the players are in the industry. And it was nice to meet you, because I know you've been in Vegas for a little while and I don't think we ever had the opportunity to connect. And here we are. And now you're on the radio show.
Yeah, I know. It's surreal. But absolutely, I agree with everything that you just said. A lot of people come here from out of town, out of country, out of state, and as the wedding professional, we should be the ones that can tell them, I personally know this person, or I've worked with these people before in weddings, and these are the people that I trust. So why not come down and talk to you face to face and get to know you?
Awesome. Well, thank you. Thank you. So let's tap right into this. We're going to go right into the subject because I know the brides are driving in their cars and they want to hear it. Let's start off with the myth. I think a lot of people think, or brides think, that they have to have a lot of money to hire a wedding coordinator, or that their wedding has to be at the Waldorf Astoria Hotel in New York City, someplace grand, to have a coordinator. And I think, you girls tell me, that's so not true.
Well, I totally agree. With anything in life, you budget for it. You're going to find great deals. You're going to find something that's out of your budget and you work with it. That's how your wedding is going to be with your wedding planner, your florist, your DJ, with everything. And you make it work. And what's the most important thing to you? That's what you need to spend your money on. And I think a planner or a coordinator, that's something that's a must.
So it's not a thing for the rich.
No, not at all. And a thing for coordinators is we should be planning what you're going to spend based on what it is that you're looking for, the services that you're wanting us to do for you. If you're wanting someone to be with you from day one till the day of and do every single thing in between versus someone that you just want to introduce you to the vendors and help you pick out your design concept, all those things can change what you're going to be spending for those services.
So what exactly, let's go really basic here. So you don't have to be super rich or be Angelina Jolie to have a wedding coordinator, because they all do. Jessica Simpson just got married. She had a wedding coordinator. Princess Kate, of course. Could you imagine the princess doing her own wedding? No. But what exactly, let's go with the basics. What exactly is a wedding coordinator, wedding planner? Whoever wants to tackle it first.
Go ahead.
Okay, so I'll start. So with what I do a month of coordination, and the difference between that and a wedding planner, there really is quite a big difference. And I think that's where a lot of brides get confused. They think that a wedding planner is going to start from first to end and they're going to plan everything, when really we're supposed to be the support system. You're supposed to come to us with what you want and what you're looking for, with an idea in your head and a vision of what that day looks like. We're here to facilitate that for you. We're here to put you in connection with the right people, tell you what's a good idea, what can be tweaked a little bit, and what things might just be a better fit for what you're looking for, and things that may be realistic versus unrealistic with the different venues. A lot of times you don't take into consideration that maybe you want floating candles, in vases walking down your aisle. Well, you don't always think that the venues aren't going to allow that. What if you knock one over and your dress catches on fire? Perfect example. A lot of brides want that type of decor, but they don't think of the other side of things. And that's what we're here to know and to educate them on.
Mm-hmm. So a day of coordinator, a month of coordinator. So kind of explain, you specialize, Kenzi, more in the day of, or as we call it, month of.
Right. So for me, I'm a little different than what Archel does. So for my month of coordination, you would hire me on. I would come in a month out from your wedding date, and I would do a contract analysis with you. I read through all your contracts. I read your vendor's verbiage. I read everything that you've signed, and I go through and I troubleshoot anything that I think could possibly cause any hindrance from now until the end. I make sure you're paying your payments on time. I make sure that your vendors and you have a steady line of communication. And I usually am the middleman between that, because, brides and grooms, they work full time, and this is my full time. This is what I do. So it's easier for me to kind of facilitate that. And on top of that, I would go through and I would build timelines for all your vendors, a master timeline, so that no matter who you come up to the day of your wedding, you can ask them any question and they will have the answer for you, because they have the 100% timeline that everybody else has. And then I come in the day of and I go in from the time your first vendor arrives with their product, and I stay until they pick that product up at the end of the night, making sure that everything goes off without a hitch.
Are you also the one that ties the bows around the chairs and drops?
Absolutely. We handle all of your little tchotchkes and your wedding favors, and making sure that the vision that you've given to your vendors is what that they provide. Because if you don't have a coordinator or a planner, who's going to be there to see that the purple chair ties that you ordered are lavender and not deep purple because you asked specifically for lavender? Who's going to know that you wanted the bows to the side of the chair and not to the back of the chair? All the little minute details that can get lost in communication, that's what we're here for.
And when you come in with your couple already, they've already selected the vendors.
Right. So for me, you've already selected your venue. You've already selected.
You better if you're getting married a month out, right? Exactly. Although I do have a bride who called today who wanted to know if we were available on Saturday. I'm like, what Saturday? This Saturday. What?
Yeah.
I just booked it.
You definitely get a lot of those last minute people, especially here in Vegas. That's what we specialize here in Vegas is last minute. But we also have the serious brides who start 2 years out. And so for those brides, most of the time when I come in, you've already secured all your vendors and you've already made those relationships. I'm just there to facilitate those relationships and to make sure everything is done correctly and that you're getting exactly what you paid for.
Awesome. Now, Archel, tell me a little bit about what you specialize in. I mean, I know you also do, the same thing, but you start with them a little bit earlier.
Typically, yes, I do. Just to go back to the budget thing, for me, I'll offer full-time service planning where you do get me from the very beginning until the very end, and I'm with you holding your hand the whole way through. Anything that you need help with, that's what your planner is there for. But it also goes back to, well, maybe you can't have me full scale, so let's go something smaller. So partial planning, month of planning, day of coordinating, have something because you need that person with you. You need that support system like Kenzi just said. But yeah, typically my brides come to me more time out, it could be more than a year, it could be 6 months. And a lot of the times I'm referring the vendors. They don't know anybody here. Who do you suggest? This is my budget. This is my price point. So I can kind of gauge, okay, well, I think that you'd be really good with this person. Same thing with getting to know the vendors too. Like I like to work with the people that I know and that I trust. And so based on the couple, based on the bride and their personality and kind of the style or design that they're going for their event, I can say this vendor would be good for you. This vendor would not be good for you. So I am a little bit more involved when it comes to the wedding planning aspect of it. But we go down all the way down to the coordinating and do the timeline,
of course,
review the contracts. We want to be there to execute your vision, to be there for anything that you need on the day of.
So you're more like the first call a bride would make. I would think that you'd be the very first call a bride would make, where Kenzi comes in like the month before, the month out. You're the first call.
Ideally. Yeah. A lot of the times, I'm sure you guys have met those brides that think that they can do it all on their own, or I'll delegate this to my bridesmaids or my mom or whoever. And then all of a sudden, they're drowning in all of these. Yeah. And I need to hire a professional. And sometimes we come in and do cleanup and kind of help out with that.
And how soon should a bride contact a wedding planner? How soon?
After you get engaged. I would say right from the get-go. Especially if you want to get to know your planner too, you're going to be working with them so close. So the more time you have together, the more you're going to be on the same wavelength and the smoother your wedding is going to go. So
now, how would one shop for a wedding planner? What do you girls recommend?
Obviously the internet. You're going to go online, you're going to look up websites, you're going to see what styles you like, you're going to read about these people that you're going to be personally working with. But you also read reviews, you also go by word of mouth. You have girlfriends that got married, if you're getting married in your own hometown, who did you work with? Who do you recommend? And then kind of go down that avenue as well. So I think there's a lot of resources to use out there to find the perfect planner.
Yeah, I think blogs are blogs really, really big too. I mean, I guess, if I'm somebody, Susie, and I'm planning my wedding in Long Beach, California, and, I think if I was trying to find a wedding planner, like you said, I think the first thing people do, I think, would be Google. Would probably be Google wedding planner, Long Beach, California, and wham, things pop up. So just, I guess, finding a style or maybe videos are how crucial. I know you just had a really nice video on your website that I saw. It came out beautiful.
Yeah, I try to update the blog. I try to update Facebook. I'm putting my personality out there too, just because, I want to work with somebody that's going to mesh well with me as well. That's going to make everything easier for everybody that's involved. So updated blogs, if you're sharing videos, you're sharing photos, you're, talking about your personal experiences with different events and different brides, reading all of that information that's out there is really important.
Here's one thing to keep in mind too, and this is something that I encountered when I was working on trying to start a business, is be wary when you're looking at a wedding planner's website and you're looking at photos. Keep in mind it is not always the wedding planner's decision as to what the wedding looks like. So you may go on to so-and-so's website and you may not like any of the pictures. You may not like the decor concept. You may not like the colors. Keep in mind it wasn't the planner's job to choose those things. It's not whether or not you like the pictures. Keep in mind they're there to help facilitate everything. That's the job description. So keep that in mind when you're looking at videos and you're looking at pictures. You definitely want to have those things. But just because you don't like what you see in the pictures, keep in mind that's not necessarily the planner's decision.
I think that's great. It's also like when somebody wants to hire a DJ entertainer, for example, and they're like, "Hey, can we come and see you at a wedding?" Which, first of all, is a taboo, right? Girls planners, right?
Yeah.
You never allow your vendors to bring potential clients to any of your events. Big no-no. But, somebody walking into somebody's wedding and hears country music played, for example, that's not representative of an entertainer. That's representative of the client. So I understand exactly what you're saying. If somebody is into purple and yellow, oh gosh, I don't want to work with Archel. She's a purple. She loves purple and yellow. It wasn't Archel. It was our bride. Yeah. And that's super important because one of the things that I think why brides don't hire wedding planners is because they feel like the wedding planners are going to control the wedding, that it's their day, the wedding planner's day, and not their day, meaning the bride and groom. Kind of explain a little bit about that. I mean, I kind of just touched on it, I guess, when we talked about the colors and stuff like that. But it's such a myth.
Absolutely. I totally agree. When I'm working with somebody, I'm asking them questions. I'm asking them a million questions over and over again. I want to know how you envision your wedding. I want to know what you want, and I'm going to put that together for you. I'm going to help you get what you want. I'm not there to tell you what you want. So, and if you need some help with ideas and stuff like that, yeah, let's powwow, let's brainstorm together. But again, we're doing that together. It's not just me making the decisions for you. So I'm not trying to come in, steamroll you and tell you these are the type of flowers you want, these are the colors you want, or anything like that. I want to know, how am I going to put your personality into your wedding, into your day?
And if your wedding planner is doing that, run. Red flag.
That's what I was hoping you would say. She read my mind. I'm like, no wedding planner. No, it shouldn't even be wedding planner. It should be events. No event professional should force their ideas upon you. Again, no event professional should force their ideas upon you. It's okay to help. I suggest this, I suggest that, but don't let anybody ever tell you that something's stupid, dumb, we don't do things this way, because if that's the kind of person that you're running into, then trust me, you're not going to want to work with them on the wedding day.
Yeah, you really want someone that just knows maybe the do's and don'ts. So say you're getting married in August and you're saying, well, I'm going to have pink peonies. Well, then your wedding planner should be able to tell you, by the way, I know that you really had your heart set on pink peonies for your flowers, but unfortunately, they're not in season. They want to be able to educate you, not tell you, no, you can't, yes, you can. Because as we all know, there are things around every rule. There are always ways to get around everything. If you want to order peonies from Antarctica because they're in season, by all means, if you have the money to do so, do so. But we're here to educate you, and that is why you hire us, because we know those things.
That's great advice. Great advice. What is the difference? Here's a good one. What is the difference between a wedding planner and an event designer? Because I see lots of wedding planners. There's a lot of celebrity wedding planners. Are they really wedding planners, or are they more designers? What's the difference?
I would say a wedding designer, you're looking more at someone who is creating your design concept. You're going to them and you're saying, I want a carnival-themed wedding. What should I do? And your event designer is going to create that vision for you. And that's what you're getting when you're having someone design it for you. So that you're kind of looking at, like, you watch David Tutera on TV. He is a wedding designer. He takes your concept and he creates a masterpiece out of it. Whereas a wedding planner or an event planner, we are doing the background. We are doing the paperwork. We are doing the vendor relationships. We are doing the facilitation, and sometimes we are doing the design if we're asked to do so. But there are two very different worlds when it comes to event design and event planning.
Sure.
Archel, do you have anything to add to that?
I do agree with everything you just said. I'm a very organized person. I'm good with relationships with people, so I am your planner. I can do that hands down. With the design, if you really, really need that, that's when I'm there to step in and to tell you this is what I think will work with your concept. But that's not generally what I see myself doing as a planner, just because I'd like to assist with your design. That's fine. Again, let's sit down. Let's talk. What do you see? This is what I think when you tell me these things, and work with you that way.
And I'm sure, Archel, that I've seen your blog. I've read your blog, which is awesome. And I see that you do work with, various event designers along the way. You just did a really pretty wedding at JW Marriott. And I saw that our friends from Floral Couture designed it. And I remember meeting that couple myself. And they had big aspirations. And you hooked her up with the right people.
We know the people.
Exactly. At the point that I know, you really need somebody to put all those details together and really create something really beautiful for your day. I know those people. That's my job as a planner, is to know those people, and let's get you guys to meet, and we'll get that all squared away.
And you know who can handle those kind of jobs.
Absolutely.
You just can't always have one designer in your pocket. You've got to have several designers in your pocket. I know from us just putting together a big affair. One time we had to do this big event for a diamond company. We knew who to call. Like, we knew what event company would have what we wanted, and they delivered for us. So absolutely, that's important. I run across a lot in my work that brides think they're under this perception that their catering manager or catering director is the wedding planner. So they don't feel like they have to hire a month out coordinator, or they don't feel like they have to reach out to an event planner a year out, because they booked their facility and the person who handles food and beverage has somehow convinced them that they are, quote, the wedding planner. No, I agree. I agree with that. It's definitely something that gets confused a lot. A lot of couples will start out and book their venue and get to really know their venue coordinator. What you don't know is that, they might be helping you with all of the catering, with telling you the specs of the place and, what to expect and everything like that. But they're not there to put out your signage and to collect your cards and gifts and decor at the end of the night. A lot of the times too, venue coordinators, they leave during the reception and then turn it over to the banquet, captain at that point. So how many times have you talked to the banquet captain when you were wedding planning? Always.
Right.
As a DJ, MC, director, I very rarely ever see the catering director or catering manager, whoever it is, pass the cake cutting. And that's maybe. Some of them don't. You know what? Some of them have great jobs. Some of them have amazing jobs, by the way. They have, some of them just work Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, and they're not even at weddings on Saturdays. I follow some of them on Twitter or Instagram, and I'm seeing pictures of them at Disneyland on a Saturday. I'm like, shouldn't they be working the big wedding at, such and such hotel? But they're at Disneyland. Like, what? How do I get that gig? It's these brides really need to, again, understand that they are not doing exactly what you said.
Right. It's just a different job. So need that day of coordinator. You need someone there that knows exactly what you wanted, exactly what you planned, and is going to be there from start to end on the day of.
And I think it's very, very important too, brides, that when you talk to your catering people, that you ask them the question, you say you're my wedding coordinator. Are you actually going to be with me the day of the wedding?
And the whole night.
Yeah, right.
That's the key.
The whole night, yes.
I mean, receptions can be a beast all in of themselves. And brides, don't make the mistake in thinking that you're going to get off scot-free by utilizing the banquet captain as your right hand, because that will be the biggest mistake that you make. They are there to focus on your food and beverage. And if they can't focus on your food and beverage, not only is everything else going to lack, but you're now stepping into their realm and taking their attention off of what they're supposed to be doing. And that is a huge mistake. Food and beverage is a big part of your evening, and you want that to go well. That's Absolutely. One of the biggest reasons people not come to weddings, but it's one of the biggest focuses on the wedding is the food and beverage. And if that's not on point, that's going to be the talk of the town about your wedding. Mm-hmm. And you don't want that, first of all. And you want those people to focus on their job. So do yourself a favor and hire someone that knows what they're doing to focus on the wedding planning portion of the job, holding your hand, making sure that everyone's ready for the grand entrance and that the DJ knows we're starting the grand entrance in 5 minutes. Making sure the photographer knows, hey, the first dance is going to be in 3 songs. You're there to make sure dad and grandpa are in the room because the bride needs to dance with her dad in 2 songs. If you announce that it's the first dance and the groom's in the bathroom, you're the one that's ruining the night. Mm-hmm. That's what we're here for, ladies. We are here to make sure that everyone is where they're supposed to be, when they're supposed to be there, that your photographer, your videographer, your DJ are all on the same page with what's going on so that you don't have people running around your wedding with their heads cut off. That is what we're here for. And it's really hard because you would think as certain DJs do what you explain because you work with us, but how nice is it? And I'm going to talk as the DJ here. How amazingly awesome is it when I go to a party and I know that Archel is going to be there, or I see Kenzi, Kenzi's going to be there. That makes the job of a DJ and even the other professionals like your photographer and your videographer so easy because we are not the ones trying to find the people. We just whisper in their ear. That's their job. Hey, you know what? The mother Sundance is coming up and I can't find Pat's mom. I don't know where she is. Can you go get her? Tell her, she's got 5 minutes because we need to get things rolling. I love working with coordinators. I am a big fan of coordinators. I think every wedding on the planet needs to have some form of coordinator there because, like I said, it just makes everything so much better. It makes the night flow smoother. The DJ isn't the one that's dealing with family dynamics, and that's a reason why you need to hire a coordinator because there's a lot of just stuff that goes on. So if you're listening to this show, here I am, the DJ MC, telling you that it's a wise investment. Girls, tell me, because we are touching on like what the responsibilities of a wedding coordinator does. What else do you guys do? What else do you do? Like, what do your services encompass?
As far as day of coordinating or just anything?
I would say, I know we get a lot of phone call. You're available. Girls call you, right? 24/7. I'm sure.
Email, text messages, and
personal
that's fine.
concierge.
Exactly. That's why I'm here. That's why I get paid. That's my job. When I'm out of town, I'm telling you I'm out of town because I want you to know it's going to be a couple hours before I return your phone call or before I return your text message because I'm really here to work for you day and night, whatever you need. You have a question that comes up when you're laying in bed in the middle of the night. I don't want you to forget it. So just text me really quick or send me a quick email. Excuse me. Yeah, so I'll do all of that for you, answer your questions, give you, my advice just being at so many weddings and working with so many different clients that come from all kinds of different backgrounds. And I think that
I always tease the brides and say, like, I'm your best friend. We're your best friend. We're the ones that, we'll listen to you. And in our pre-interview, Archel, before we started, I mentioned family dynamics. You ladies have to deal with a lot of family dynamics. You want to explain what I mean by family dynamics? Maybe you have a personal story.
Well, that's a question also that I ask. It's a kind of a general question that I ask every single bride. Tell me, we're going to be friends. Tell me the personal dynamics in your family. I want to know if there's going to be any drama to expect on the day of, because you shouldn't be dealing with that. As a bride on your wedding day, let me handle that. Let me make sure that, Aunt Mary isn't sitting next to Uncle June and they're not going to fight or whatever. Tell me about the recent divorces. Let's be real about this and just tell me what to expect, because I want to make sure everything goes as smoothly as possible. That's, that's part of the end game in my job. So I agree. Tell me about the family dynamics of all of that. And I don't want to get into any stories.
You would think, okay. Well, you would think that people would play nice in the sandbox. It is a wedding day, but
you never know.
No.
And with the drinks going and all that, you just never know.
It gets crazy. So how would a bride know that a wedding planner is right for her? Like, how would you know if a wedding planner is right for you? I know wedding planner, I just said, is right for everybody. But like, if your wedding's out of town, if it's too big.
I think you really need to be communicating with the planners that you're talking to. Interview them, meet with them, come prepared with questions for us. So when you're thinking about hiring us, call me on the phone. And if we're in the same city or state or whatever, let us meet with you, and know what you're getting into with us. We work on the weekends. That is a big thing for us. DJs, wedding planners, any type of vendors. It is, of course, we will try and answer your calls any time of day, any day of the week. But know that we're going to be busy. Know that most of us don't have a personal life anymore, and we've accepted that a long time ago. But know that we do work, and so on Saturdays and Sundays and Fridays, we're not going to be able to be at your beck and call. That's a really big topic, because we are at weddings, we're at rehearsals, and you have to have the respect to know that we have other clients that we need to finish out with. We would not do that to you on your wedding day. We would not step aside on the phone to talk to our other brides. They know that that's your day, and we're 100% committed to you on your day. So please keep that in mind when we're working on somebody else's wedding. When it's their day, let us do that for them. Right. That's really important. And knowing which coordinators would be best for you, come with an arsenal of questions. Say, what is it that you do? What is it that you enjoy doing about weddings? Find out what we're good at, and compare that to what it is exactly that's important to you. If the flowers are the most important to you, if, like you said, family dynamic, if partying, really just get to know the person. I feel like that's the best advice I can give you, because you're going to be friends. You're going to be with this person in and out of their life 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, sometimes over a year out. We get to know you really, really well. And you want to make sure the personalities mesh. It's really important, because I've had brides that I didn't necessarily mesh with. And it's just for whatever reason. You're stressed out. You're tired. You have a regular life. You have a full-time job. All of those things come into play. So you really just need to make sure that you're able to communicate and not step on each other's toes. And you need to make sure that your wedding planner is able to do that as well. And you just need to make sure you can have a good, well-oiled relationship, because it really is a relationship.
I'm really big into feelings. And so I agree with, meeting someone face-to-face if you can, talking on the phone, let's Skype if we're not in the same town. And let's just try and do a face-to-face, because it's one of those things that you might instantly know, like, I can work with this person for the next year and a half. And sometimes on the other side of the coin, I don't think that I really mesh well with this person's personality. And I don't think it's anything personal. I think that, just like you picked your mate, there's just things that you like and you don't like about a person, things that work well when you're in the same room. So really draw on that and what feels right. And I think that applies to a lot of aspects in wedding planning as well. When you're picking your venue, if you go to a place and it doesn't feel right, then that's probably not the right place. So I think that applies to choosing the perfect wedding planner for you.
fall in love with your wedding planner. That's such a big thing, and that sounds really cheesy, so don't judge me. But really, falling in love with your wedding planner it's very important, because they're going to be the person that you call crying at 2 a.m. when you're having a panic attack and everyone's yelling at you and you don't even want to get married anymore because you're so frustrated. We're going to be the person you call, and we have to be that shoulder to cry on, and you've got to have that connection.
Yep.
Now, some wedding planners, you girls obviously are single ops, meaning that you own the company. Well, you work with me, but it's you and I together. So it's not like we have hundreds of people here at Sight and Sound that specialize.
Usually a one-man
Yeah,
team.
we're a two-person team over here. But Archel, you're a single operator, correct? And you work with assistants,
Yes.
right? But you pretty much are the go-to person in the company.
I'm the first person you talk to when you email or call, and I'll be there the whole way through. Okay. But yeah, there's usually someone that's there to assist me. But I'm the main
head
person.
honcho.
Yeah.
Of course. And Kenzi's had, Jen from our company help her out several times on events too. What I'm trying to get at is there are probably event planning companies, I don't say wedding planning companies that are have multiple coordinators working for them. So it's probably really important to make sure that you get a name, right? What would you recommend? I mean, if you're working with a big brand, maybe there's a big brand out there, and the owner might charge an astronomical amount of money. You know what I'm saying? So, how...
You know who you're going to be working with when you hire a company. So when you call me, say, Kenzi, are you going to be my main point of contact the whole way through? Or is it going to be Kenzi's assistant's assistant who is going to be working with me? And know that about your planners. Find that out, because it's really important, because sometimes you will hire these name brand wedding companies that have 5 or 6 or 7 people that could have their hands in the pot on your wedding for an event. And that's not a bad thing, but you may call and say, hi, is Ashley there? She is my wedding coordinator. Oh, well, my name is Brandy and I'm working on your wedding now. And you may never have met Brandy. You may never have heard Brandy's name, but she knows everything about you. So just know what you're getting into with that sort of thing. Because there's definitely a difference between the single operators and the big production show teams.
Yeah. No one wants to be passed along and not know that that's what's going to happen with your information, your wedding. It's such a personal thing, planning your wedding.
Absolutely.
So that's a good question to ask.
No, I agree. I definitely agree. So, I mean, do you have to be a large wedding to have a wedding coordinator?
No, especially here in Vegas, a lot of people come here to avoid the gigantic wedding and try and do something a little bit more small, more intimate, but what they want to do and really make it about them and their close friends and family to celebrate their wedding day. So I see big, but I see the small weddings too. And a lot of the times those are even nicer just because there's so much love and feeling in it, and everybody's so happy to be there. It's all the people that you really, really want close to you. Just because it's a small wedding, though, doesn't mean that doesn't take a lot of work. So
I think in smaller weddings too, the wedding planner, the wedding coordinators are doing a hell of a lot more work than they would for a big wedding.
Absolutely.
Because especially in a destination city, you're planning things for them. You're planning, a Friday night party if the wedding's on a Saturday. Maybe you're planning some sort of after party, especially here in Las Vegas. We have nightclubs people go to. So, I mean, I think that, that's something to consider.
Right. And, I mean, we've done some of the big weddings and we've done some of the small weddings with 20 and 30 people. And Jodi knows, she's worked hand in hand with me on a few of them, where the venues, you don't realize what you get into when you get a venue. You have no idea what their do's and don'ts are. And it's not always in black and white. Sometimes you show up and you've ordered these beautiful marquee letters that say love. And they're supposed to sit right up against a wall, lit up for your guests to walk by, just as a very cute decor piece. But what you didn't know is that an hour before your guests showed up, the venue said, oh, you can't lean those against that wall. It might scratch the paint. You can't set those there. It might leave a mark on the floor. I mean, it's all these little minute details that you would never, ever imagine that come up and become a problem for us. If you are having a live action station for your food and they go to bring out a grill because they're grilling kebabs or something of that nature, well, guess what? If that girl happens to leave one grease mark, guess who's getting charged for it? The bride. They're going to call you the next day and say, you left grease marks on our floor. You need to come back and clean it or pay a company to come clean it. That's something a bride's never going to think of. And it's something as wedding planners, we're there to troubleshoot those little things because there's so many things that can go wrong that, and this is not to scare brides. I mean, like I said, this is educating you. These are the things we deal with. We deal with the fact that it's your first dance and we're trying to turn down the lights so you can have a romantic moment. But guess what? Your catering manager is nowhere to be found. Who's going to try and figure out where the light system is, who can work it, and do it in a timely fashion because your first dance starts in 30 seconds. Things like that. Getting the air conditioning turned up because Grandma Betty's going to have a heart attack because it's 80 degrees in the ballroom and we can't find an engineer.
And they always try to ask the DJ.
Yeah,
like,
I do.
Can you turn the lights down for us? Can you turn up the air conditioning? I'm like, I am concentrating on a dance floor here.
And those are the things that we deal with. We deal with all of those little pestering things that nobody ever hears about. And that's the whole point. When you have a wedding planner, you never do hear about them because we handle the issue before it ever amounts to anything.
Well, because you're in the room. You see that the lights are on and they should be lowered for the dance. You hear background music playing, the hotel's background music playing in the ballroom when somebody's trying to do a toast. I mean, you're that's part of your job of creating this, awesome, amazing event.
And that's what really sets apart our services and what you're paying for. That's what you're paying for. You're paying for a remarkable once of a lifetime night. You can't redo your wedding. And this is something Jodi and I tell all of our brides. It's so, so, so important. We'd like to all think we're going to be married for the rest of our lives to that one person, God forbid anything bad should happen, but you don't get a do-over. This is your one night. Why risk the chance of something going wrong? You're going to regret it.
For just a little extra, you pay insurance on your life. You pay insurance on your car. Why not hire a wedding planner as your insurer the success of your wedding day?
Absolutely.
I love it. I absolutely love it. And you've seen some of the videos where the friends say, oh no, you don't need to hire a coordinator. I'm going to do it for you.
Kaboom.
Archel, kaboom.
Kaboom, yes.
And why is that such a big kaboom?
Well, think about it. If you have a maid of honor you're delegating all these duties to, and yes, she had a little too much champagne, while she was getting ready in the hotel room, how do you know what you can rely on these people for? You want them to have a good time as well. They're celebrating your wedding. They're not there to work for you. So, especially if it's something that, you're getting a little bit cross about, you don't want to
ruin those relationships.
Yeah, cause a rift in your relationship because you're telling this person and ordering them around and telling them what you want them to do on your wedding day. Find someone that you can
pay a professional.
Yeah, exactly.
You're not going to hire a plumber to come fix your TV. Why would you let Betty Joe come plan your wedding when she's never done it before?
Oh, absolutely. And plus, like I always say, like you just hit on, they're a guest. They're a guest at the wedding. They should be enjoying and celebrating with you. To give them the responsibility of collecting the gifts.
It's not fair.
It's not. It's so, and again, they don't have the experience. They don't know what it is that your team has been hired to do. So they have their own agenda. They're the ones with their own agenda. They're the ones, girls, that you have to watch out for. It's not the wedding planner with her own agenda. It's your girlfriend that has her own agenda because she had a wedding 5 years ago and it didn't go exactly the way she planned it. So guess what? She's going to say, well, I'm going to, you're going to have it and this is the way you're going to do it. So I agree. I agree with that in anything when it comes to your wedding, that you shouldn't have a friend do anything. Shouldn't be involved. Uncle Charlie shouldn't film your wedding video. Your cousin Mario shouldn't be your wedding DJ MC. Yeah, I can go. I don't want to even go to the
on and on and on.
Yeah, exactly. Just go on and on.
Your DJ might get beat up. Be careful.
Yeah. Remember, don't forget the old, oh my God, he's not listening to me. Yeah, that was fun. What else? What advice do you have to give to the ladies or gentlemen that are listening to the show today about hiring a planner? Anything that we didn't touch on? Anything you'd like to let them know about? Anything, one particular thing that,
I would say a huge thing for all of you brides and grooms out there is to trust your wedding planner, trust your wedding coordinator, trust your wedding vendors, period. They are the professionals. They know what they're doing. Again, we're not there to boss you around and to tell you what you do want and what you don't want. So again, you need to be working with people that you like and that you mesh well together with and trust. But I think trust is a big thing. If you're questioning everything that your wedding planner is trying to tell you, then, maybe this isn't the right fit, because you want somebody, again, that you feel comfortable with, that is going through the ups and the downs with you during wedding planning. So trust what I'm telling you, trust the advice I'm giving you, because I just want what's best for you and what's best for the day. That's my job.
I think that's great advice. We forgot to trust, the trust factor. That's huge with anything you do with a wedding. Absolutely.
And realize that if the reason we do this is if we mess up and if we didn't know what we were doing, it's our name that's on the line. It's our reputation. No wedding planner wants to see their reputation go up in flames. And that's why we do the things that we do and we say the things that we say, because we've been there, we've experienced it, we've made the mistake, and we've learned from it.
I'd like to say that you are the girls, and this may sound weird because I say it all the time, you are the girls that get married every weekend or almost every weekend. So it's not if you think about it that way.
We're at weddings.
You're at weddings.
Week.
Yeah. Where a bride may only go to a few weddings, right? Because they have girlfriends in that age category that are getting married. They may go to a few weddings and they're really not paying attention. I talk to brides when I do my final meeting, my design session, and I'll say to them, so, have you been to many weddings? Yeah. And I go, well, what did they do at that wedding? I don't know. We really weren't paying attention. So that's how I kind of pitch it. I'm the girl who gets married every weekend, and yeah, you want to customize and make it personal for them, because nobody should ever have a cookie cutter wedding. Absolutely. Your wedding, it's your day, it's your brand. That's end of story. But, trust us, because we're the people that get married every weekend. Exactly. Real quickly, I want to touch on the cost. I don't want to know your prices, but I have no idea. Like, how do wedding planners charge what they charge? Archel, you were talking a little bit about taking phone calls 24/7. I would imagine that, that's got to be a pretty kind of expensive package. I don't want to know your rate, but I'm just trying to get an idea of how all this works.
Well, I try not to, I treat all my brides the same, whether you've hired me for day of coordinating and I'm going to be working with you 8 months from now, or whether I'm full-time planning with you. All my relationships with my brides are very special. So for that, the cost factor, it's not the same. I'll treat everybody. I'll give everybody the same time. I try to anyway. Mm-hmm. But yeah, realistically, there's going to be a price range, and that's not just with me. I have a price range from day of coordinating to full-time planning, but also there's going to be a price range with all of the different planners that you're interviewing too. So, you just need to find who fits well with you and then who also fits in your budget. I can't speak for a lot of other planners or anything like that. But I also try and tell me exactly what you want me to do. Tell me exactly what you feel that my tasks should be for you, and let's customize it. How, what are you trying to spend on your wedding planner or your day of coordinator? And I'll try and work with you that way. So there's going to be a big range.
Mm-hmm. And Kenzi?
Absolutely. I will ask you what it is that you're looking and what your expectations of me are. And based on what we talk about, I will definitely give you what I feel is appropriate. However, if I feel like you are really going to need it and it's something that is really going to benefit you and I know you can't afford it, I will move my pricing around to try and make it work for you. Because for me, yes, we all have to make a paycheck. We all have bills to pay. But on the same time, I do this job because I love it, and I do it because I want to help people. And for me, it's more important to build that relationship with my brides and grooms, because once I've met you and I've heard your love story, you know, I already immediately have a connection to you. So for me, it's really important to try and mold that around my brides and grooms. And if I know their budget, they're not going to find a planner in Vegas that's ever going to do that, I'll try and work with that, because I know that it's an important service and I know that it's invaluable to have a wedding planner. So I really try to work around that. And brides and grooms, please call us and ask. The worst that can happen is we say we can't do it. Always try, and I won't say negotiate, but call and ask us. You may think we're expensive. Ask us if we're willing to work with you. 9 times out of 10, we are. And a lot of brides just don't have the go-getter personality to ask that question. They feel embarrassed. Don't be embarrassed. We as professionals are more than willing to work with people. We are human too, and we realize that everybody has a different story and different things that they're looking for, and we're definitely willing to, most of the time, try and make that happen for you.
I noticed too that sometimes like a bride will call you up on the phone and they don't necessarily want to hire you yet, but yet they want your advice for free. Right. I mean, right? I mean, that's happened to us quite a few times.
That's a tricky situation to get into, because you want to help and you want to give guidance, but at the same time, you have to realize that's what we get paid to do. So please, brides and grooms, be wary of what's appropriate. Asking general questions is appropriate. Getting down and saying, I want you to tell me 3 different floral designers in Vegas that I can call. That's something that I'm going to charge a bride and groom. That's going to be built into a package for me. That's what my services are.
Yeah, exactly. That's part of your fee.
And that really is a sticky situation to get into. It happens all the time, every day. And just be aware, you know, you wouldn't go into work for free. You would not show up to your job and for 20 minutes and not expect to get paid for that 20 minutes. So please don't ask that of us as well.
I noticed that some wedding planners that I've researched before would charge like a small fee for their preferred vendor list. Is that something people still do now, or no, not really? Oh, okay.
I don't know.
No.
I don't. Yeah.
I mean, you're hiring us for our knowledge of our vendors, right? So then charging you extra for us to tell you who our vendors are.
Yeah, it was like, for like $100, I will, even though you don't hire me, but for $100, I will email you my preferred vendor list, and you can go from there. Good luck.
Run. Red flag. That's not a wedding planner.
Yeah.
That is a scam.
Yeah, that's a little weird. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to come to a close here. I want to thank Archel and Kenzi for coming on the show today. Archel, if bride and groom want to get in touch with you, what's the best way for them to reach you?
Well, my contact information's on my website. That's archelrolwingevents and .com. And I'm also on Facebook. So again, I am hooked up to my phone, my computer, to everything. So any way that's convenient for you to get a hold of me, you can find a way.
Perfect. And I'll have the correct spelling of your name on the show.
Thank you. It took Jodi a while to get the pronunciation correct.
I know I messed it up at least once or twice today.
It's okay. I get it all the time.
And Kenzi, how does one get in touch with you?
I am on Twitter. It's the @ Kenzi Blalock. It's KenziBlalock. Anything through Sight and Sound, you can find me. We have YouTube blogs, YouTube videos, podcasts, all kinds of things. So Google me, Facebook me.
You can find us. We're all over.
My email is my first and last name @gmail.com, same as my Twitter. So you're more than welcome to find me that way.
Awesome. And of course, me, if you're trying to get in touch with me, it's CEO of Fun. And I hope you do, because I love the tweets. So after you listen, so if there's, brides, if you're listening to this show, please reach out to me via Twitter. It's Jodi, Jodi Harris. It's also, it'll be listed in the show. Also, I could use your love. I can use the support. So I know the 2 girls here are definitely going to rate and review do the show. So if you are a bride and you are planning a wedding, I need you to do something for me. I need you to do me a favor. I know we've never met before, but you've listened to all of my podcasts and you're just loving this. I need you to go on iTunes and I need you to write a review and rate the show. And the reason why I need you to do it, because it helps the algorithms. That's right. There are algorithms out there in the iTunes world. So please take a moment if you're listening to the show and do it for me. Again, thank you to my guests. We're going to have another fantastic show coming up in a few more episodes. So I am Jodi Harris, the CEO of Fun of Sight and Sound Events, telling you to make your wedding fantastic. And remember, it's party time
all the time.